for paper. Just probably open it up for your general comments on the game, and then we'll open up for questions.
Sure. Again, I think we didn't put them in the right positions. I think we had some things go wrong early, and we weren't able to kind of get it back on track after that. Again, anytime you're playing a team of this caliber, to let it get out of hand or let it get up 21 that quick, it's going to be tough. I mean, again, for whatever, we weren't. Well, I'll take the blame for that. Again, just not being prepared, making mistakes kind of there early, not getting them ready during the week. So again, I think we had some shots and some opportunities, and again, we just weren't able to make those plays early. Again, I thought we played hard all the way down the stretch till the end. Again, just not enough there.
Was it an overwhelming kind of thing from the beginning, or was it,
I think when, again, it's one of those things where in football you do it long enough, you understand that sometimes those balls you catch, sometimes those balls bounce your way, and sometimes they don't. And in games like this, when those balls don't bounce your way, it makes the game significantly more difficult. So again, I think it just seemed like one of those situations where those balls just weren't bouncing our way tonight. So.
Coach, you were held to 28 yards rushing. What did you see that they did defensively to kind of stymie your run game?
Yeah, again, I think they have the ability to put guys in the box with that extra safety playing man right on the tight end. And again, I think the big kid up front, the Ware kid, played fantastic right there in the middle of the nose. And again, was able to make some arm tackles that we thought we'd be able to get a little more push on him there in the middle. And again, I thought as a whole, they played the run extremely well. Again, I thought we had stuff there in the pass game. But again, I thought they did a good job shutting that down.
For Jake, Liberty made a couple of nice plays in the passing game with a couple of picks. Were they doing something that you hadn't seen before in coverage, or something different, or what were you seeing from the secondary?
I mean, number 5, he played an outstanding game. He didn't play what we thought he was going to play. He sat back and then read it well. I mean, we thought they were going to play a lot of man. They played a lot of zone. Just made bad throws.
There was an instance there in the first half where you guys were down 21-6, but you had the ball, you were moving there into their territory with a little bit of success, possibly cutting it to a one-score game there for a minute. Were there kind of adjustment that you made that helped you do that a little bit? Overall on offense, your passing game was working at times. You kind of speak to that.
Yeah, again, I think we felt comfortable. We knew running the ball against these guys was going to be difficult. So again, I think all week we prepped just to be able to find things in the pass game. And again, I think things were there, things were open. We were able to make some big throws, and again, drive the field and gain some momentum there. And again, it's just getting behind the chains on these guys. If it's 2nd and long or if it's 3rd and 10, those are difficult situations. And again, oftentimes not easy situations for us to put the kids in a good situation. Again, so again, I thought we were able to. Again, the pass game I thought was able to get going there. And again, I think.
Talk about defending Davidson. He came in with a lot of hype. I'm sure you had to really game plan for him. I mean, you had some initial success in some plays, but talk about just preparing for him and how you felt you guys did.
Yeah, I mean, the best we could. Again, he's a talented back. I think he was the Gatorade Virginia Player of the Year. So, again, coming in, what that kid's able to do. It's different when you see it in person. Again, it's hard to replicate that in practice. Unless you have a Gideon Davis, it's hard to replicate what he's going to run like, how he's going to run, how he's going to cut. All that stuff is just difficult. The other thing I think is the line that's in front of him is big. That's an excellently well-coached line who's big and physical. And again, I think it's hard to replicate that in practice. You do your best. You try to find a kid that can replicate some of the speed and the size. But again, it's that combination of things that he can clearly do that kind of separates him. Again, I thought we were rallied. We were there on a lot of stuff. Again, I thought we did a fairly good job. Again, keeping him in check. They were able to sneak him out on a couple pass things that we weren't able to get covered. But again, I thought as a whole, our run defense held up pretty stout when we needed them to.
And talk about just the feelings of pride and accomplishment, about this season. Maybe Colton and Charlie can talk about that.
It felt pretty good getting all the way up here. I mean, coming into the season, I didn't know how we were going to do. A little rocky with losing all those big-time seniors we had last year, like Sammy and Rapp. And so, I mean, what we came into the season, we were able to prove. I mean, it felt pretty good.
Again, I think anytime you get to play the last week of the season, again, we practiced as much as we could. We got to spend as much time together as we could. So again, it's one of those things where, it's difficult right now, I think, but again, it's one of those things I hope these guys can look back on it, and all those guys in the room and look back on it with fond memories. I think they can, again, bring a lot of joy to the community, and again, the excitement around it, it's awesome. So again, we're lucky to be here, and again, I think on the backs of these guys who all played excellent, and they give it all up, they sacrifice, and run a year-round program, and they're there and everything, and again, the credit goes to these guys.
And do you think the two state final losses had any kind of comparisons? I know they ended up a little lopsided, but how would you compare the two games?
Clearly, I think the outcome's not what we wanted. Difficult, I think, at this point. The team's going to be good, and you have to make sure that, again, those things are bouncing your way, that you're making opportunities, when you're converting on opportunities, when you get a chance to convert on opportunities. That's what's kind of key and vital in this big game. So I think that's kind of the story of both.
For Colton, how do you kind of reflect on your career? A couple of trips to the state final, a couple all-state teams made, lots of rushing records at Kettle Run. So, how are you going to remember your time playing football here?
I'm gonna look back on it. I don't think I'm gonna look much as like the actual football part, but as the people I've met and made. My buddy Jake and Colton over there, but then past seniors, Jack Peachin, one of my best friends, graduated last year. Both tore ACLs in the same game. Caleb Rapp, again, graduated last year. Sam Rogers, and then guys like Peyton Mahaffey, one of my best friends. Just all those guys, being able to remember the friends I've made and keep the connections with them for life. It's probably the best part about the game when I look back on.
Yeah. Being a part of this group that's kind of broken through the last 3 or 4 years, what do you think that's going to mean for the future of this program?
Hopefully we set a high bar. Hopefully we said, just like everyone just looks up to us and is like, all right, we need to do better than they did last year. And hopefully the future is just better than what the outcome was here, but they're getting to the same place. Going 14-0, getting to the state game, hopefully winning it. Unfortunately, we couldn't come out with a win, but these future generations of kids coming up got a lot of talent. Dyson Tapscott, all of them, Carter Lovey, they need to step up and do better than we did.
You have anything to add to that, Charlie?
No, again, it's again, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know what the record is. You tweeted it out over the weekend. You were 42-5 or something like that. So again, I think it's those kind of runs just don't happen. Again, when a group of kids, and again, I think in the 22 year we thought it was special, and again, to just be able to come back 2 years later and to get back to the same point again, just to put those kind of seasons together. And again, I think it's the extra practice is invaluable, the extra time with each other is invaluable. And again, the school's always better when the football team is good. So again, these guys provided the school, and again, the community, their parents, and their families, who again, I told them at halftime, like, outcomes of the games are tough. These are tough. Your parents will love you regardless. And again, they get to look up in the stands and to hear the parents excited about the team and again about the program. It's again invaluable. And again, I think memories that these guys, and again, I hope they'll keep them forever.